What up, YouTube? Welcome to part two of my, I guess you could call it a rant video. Um I'm just not really feeling the Kinect like that. Now that I got it for Christmas. To me, Nintendo does it the best with the motion controls, even though they don't have the best games and the most exciting titles to play all the time. I mean, that does come down to your personal preference and what type of games you like. But I mean, if you're more of a light-hearted type of a gamer, then yeah, you can play the Kinect and feel adequate. You know, I'm not the type of guy. I can't sit around playing Super Mario Galaxy all day. I just don't find those games interesting. I don't have to be playing ultra-violent video games, but just games that have more of an adult direction to them, like like a Heavy Rain or something like that. That's more of my type of a game, or Metal Gear Solid, God of War. You know, those are just more direct games. And the way they have the PlayStation Move working, they could actually map the controls to God of War. The Kinect has, I mean, the PlayStation Move has a really good future ahead of it with the way they did it. I think Microsoft really hung themselves with the no control thing because I don't know what they're gonna do. You know, I don't know what the name of this game is that I seen for the Kinect. It's a cowboy western game where the main character is a skeleton and he has like a poncho on and a cowboy hat, and you basically play the game by pointing at the screen like this with your two fingers, and it makes two rectangles and you target and shoot with your fingers. I'm not sure if the game runs on rails because I did see somebody hide behind a box to take cover, but it basically plays by you pointing at the screen and using your fingers. You know, so when I seen that, I was just like, I don't want to play this. I'm like, I want to see something for the Kinect that makes me want to play it. You know, that makes me excited to own the Kinect. And I haven't seen nothing like that. I've seen all the launch games were kind of exciting when you first played them, when you're first feeling that technology for the first time, but it gets really boring real fast. None of those games do anything that incredible that keeps your interest for that long. It just doesn't. You know, it's just not worth it, and it's overpriced, $150. I'm like, for less than $100, you can get a PlayStation Move. You know, I mean, each one of them, the PlayStation Move and the Kinect, both have their ups and their downs. I mean, the Kinect is good. You don't need a controller. If you want to play two players, all somebody has to do is just basically you set it to two players and they just stand next to you. That's cool. No peripherals added for two players. The PlayStation Move, on the other hand, you're going to have another set of the PlayStation Move controllers themselves just to play two players. Okay, so that's a little bit of a downside, but at least you're going to be playing something that's worth playing. You know what I mean? Even though I hear a lot of people talking crap about Lights Out the fight for the PlayStation Move, but I'm hearing people saying they like it. You know, I'm hearing people saying it's garbage. Most of those people are having calibration problems. I'm hearing if you calibrate that game right, it works very well. Lights Out the fight. At least that's what I'm hearing. You know, but besides that, so Microsoft just needs to get more hardcore mainstream titles for the Kinect, and they should have been rushing those out first. You know, stuff that would make hardcore gamers, you know, do something. Maybe put a patch in Call of Duty and make the Kinect do something in Call of Duty. Something, you know. Even Sony knew that, okay, we don't have a lot of games on the PlayStation Move at launch. So what did they do? They patched some of their old games to work with the PlayStation Move. You know, Heavy Rain was one of them. There's a couple of other ones I can't really think about right now. But one of the games that I had that one of the games I have that supports the PlayStation Move right when it came out, even though it wasn't a PlayStation Move game initially, was Heavy Rain. I think that was smart by them. You know what I mean? So you can actually take something out of your back library and take it out and play it with their new peripheral in a new way. Make you want to take something that you beat out and play it again. And Heavy Rain has like I think 12 endings, so there's no way you've seen them all. Now you can experience the whole game in a totally different feeling, a different way. That was smart. You know, I just feel like Microsoft just releases a lot of gimmicky shit. You know, and people say Sony is overpriced. Microsoft is a lot worse if you really think about it. You know, I've had 5 Xboxes since they've come out. Most of them have broken. Okay, Red Ring, all that. Most of them have just died on me. And it's crazy because I've only bought 2 PS3s. Okay? And then on top of that, Microsoft makes their system first, and then it comes out, works for a while. but it's inconsistent. Some of them work, some of them break down for no apparent reason. Then you come to find out it's from overheating. And it's like, damn, you got it by sitting by a window. It's like, do I need to play my Xbox in a freezer for it not to overheat? Okay, fine. Then they make a whole new system and redesign it, right? And now what are they doing? They redesign it. Everything is overpriced, right? They just made a new controller that's gray for the Xbox 360. Matter of fact, I could show you what I mean. Hold on one second. There we go. Now, Microsoft just released a new controller that's all gray like this. And this part of the controller, as you can see, is not really built that well for fighting games. You know, like Street Fighter and all that, because the buttons just don't feel comfortable for it. So they made a new directional pad, right? And then the directional pad, all you have to do is you just turn it, and it clicks into place, and it has movement properties that work really good for a 2D fighting game. I said, oh my god, that's freaking awesome. I own Mark of the Wolves on Xbox Live, and it doesn't work that well on this controller. Right? So I don't play Mark of the Wolves that often, but I do love that game. And if I had real good control over how I can play it using this retarded-ass directional pad that Microsoft should never put there in the first place, you understand, I'd play it a lot more. But I don't, because it's just not worth me playing because I can't really control it that well. So now Microsoft releases a new controller that's all gray. Meanwhile, everybody's been buying their controllers up. Everybody has a controller. And they charge you $64.99 for it. Now, that's more than a game is. And all I really want it for is that damn directional pad. And I refuse to buy it. I'm not paying $64.99 for a damn directional pad. And then they have the nerve to bundle it with a charge and play kit. I'm like, everybody has a charge and play kit by now. You know? I mean, there might be a small minority of people who own an Xbox who haven't gotten around to buying a charge and play kit. But most of us have one by now. So basically, the only reason you're bundling all this together is to justify us to spend this type of money. $64.99 for a directional pad basically is retarded. And they're bundling stuff together just so that they can boost the price up and say that's why it's that price, right? But it's just ridiculous because we've been playing with these controllers for so long. So it's like, damn, now all of a sudden you want to make a new controller? Can you at least make it a little bit cheaper so that you can say, okay, we're giving you this and we're giving it to you for a cheaper price so that we can get them out there and we can do right by our consumers. No, they're just giving it to you and trying to make as much money off of it as possible. I feel like the Kinect was the same thing. Like, they just got it out there as fast as they could. They hyped it up, and now there's no support for it. I don't see any third-party games. I don't see any first-party games. I don't see anything that is coming out for the Kinect. The PlayStation Move has plenty of games. I mean, two of them just came out. I think yesterday, PlayStation Move Heroes came out, even though I heard it's not that good. But at least it's a different type of move game. I'm not kicking a soccer ball. I'm not playing tennis. I'm not swinging an imaginary bat. Just something different to do with the motion controllers. You know, Sony is smart with that aspect of how they're pushing their motion control genre to us. You know, it feels like they're using some of their main titles, you know, like Killzone, SOCOM. They're pushing it through those titles and making it an add-on to the experience of using the a controller. You understand? The Kinect is not doing that. It doesn't have any patches to play any old games or anything. It only works with the Kinect games, and that's it. Doesn't work with any back titles or anything. So it's like, okay, I tried it out. The only thing I like about the Kinect is the way it moves the dashboard. I think that is really cool. Is it worth $150? No. Can I get along without it? Yes. That's why I'm getting rid of it today. I'm trading it in. I heard they only give you $80 store credit, $64 cash. I'm not buying any today, so I'm gonna run and just take the cash. I know they rip you off at GameStop, but I don't really trade anything in, and I didn't pay for it. So what the hell? You understand what I mean? I don't plan on buying that controller either, just for the fact that it's overpriced. I'm just not doing it. I feel like it's a ripoff. Microsoft knows it's a ripoff. I just won't buy any 2D fighters on Xbox Live, and it really sucks. Xbox Live has a huge category of good games. And that's another thing about Xbox Live. When you download games on Xbox Live and say you miss a month for Xbox Live, your Xbox Live cuts off, and then you want to go and say you want to play something like Max Payne 1 off your hard drive, they won't let you play it just because you don't have Xbox Live. What type of bullshit is that? So I'm buying content that I don't even have access to unless I make sure I keep your other service on. So you're selling me content that's mine, that I own on a file, but I can't access it unless I have the Xbox Live. To me, that's entrapment. You know what I mean? If I can't buy something and I physically own it, meaning that whether or not I have Xbox Live, I can go and load up a game that I bought from Xbox Live off my hard drive, is bullshit. I should be able to do that. On PSN, if you download a PlayStation 1 Classic, it sits on your hard drive. You can go anywhere and it stays on your hard drive and it'll run. You can transfer it to your PSP and play a PS1 game on your PSP. They just put Xenogears on there, which is incredible. I suggest all you guys go play that if you haven't never played Xenogears and you're a real RPG head. Xenogears is the way to go for us old school RPG role-playing gamers. I'm not feeling the Kinect. The Wii is the best with the motion controls just because they were the first to come out with it and it felt innovative that first time. Now it seems like all the other systems are playing catch up and trying to ride that bandwagon and put their own little spin on Nintendo's motion control genre. It's not working to us. Sony's not doing it perfect, and neither is Xbox. I mean, but Xbox is really sucking. I mean, I barely ever touch my Xbox now. I mean, I love Halo, but I don't really touch it at all now. I'm so busy playing all these really crazy PlayStation titles, and I just like PlayStation better for certain games. If they make a game multi-platform, most of the time, if it's not something that started out on Xbox in the beginning, I get it on PlayStation. Like I'm getting Crysis on PlayStation. I got Dead Space 2 on PlayStation. I did buy Dead Space 1 for the 360, but that's because I got so tired of not playing the 360. I said, let me get Dead Space 1 for the 360 and play that on 360. And I loved it. It played very well on the 360, the original Dead Space, I have to say. And I actually like Dead Space. The sound is a lot better to me in Dead Space 1 than it is on Dead Space 2. I don't know. Something about the way they did the sound in the first game is a lot better than the sound is on Dead Space 2. But besides that, it's not really that much stuff going on in gaming. Well, there is a couple things I do want to talk about, matter of fact. Now, I'm a little indecisive. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. I've only been up a couple hours. It's got my kids off to school. The wife is at work. And I got nothing to do today. So I said, I'm going to make some YouTube videos. Just stay away from the Kinect, if you ask me. It's just not worth it. Until they make something that's really, really good, and they show that they're really, really supporting it, and that this isn't like a test, because I feel like we're being test subjects for Microsoft and Xbox to see if this will work or not. And then depending on how much people really like it and how many people will buy it, and that will determine how much support they're gonna give it. I don't know what they're really doing with this thing at all. Right now, it's just a brick sitting in front of my TV collecting dust. I don't even use it at all. I mean, it just has to go. I'm not doing anything with it. Thank God I didn't pay for it. I'd be even madder that I'm gonna go get $64 or something really retarded from GameStop that always rips us off. Gamers are slaves to GameStop, especially when it comes to trade-ins. Like, oh my God, they're just ridiculous. But it's the only option, really, to trade something in. There's no other place you can go. Nowhere else does trade-ins that way and gives you cash or, it's just so easy going. Besides that, there's nothing else really going on I want to talk about in this video. I'll probably make another video talking about, some other things that I have on my mind in gaming. I just don't really like the Kinect. I keep saying that. I'm sorry, guys. I know maybe you guys are saying give it a chance. Something good will come from it. I just don't feel like waiting around. I spend a lot of money on games. And to me, if this thing is really not worth having, I'm not going to stand behind it. I'm not going to support it if it doesn't revolutionize my game lab. Like, it needs to get use in here, or I'm not keeping it at all. I'm not. I would have never bought the Kinect myself, probably. Unless I had extra money, which I did over Christmas, but I thank God somebody else bought it. Real gamers stand up, man. You already know. Leave me some responses. Subscribe. Let me know what's happening in you guys' lives with games. If you want me to talk about anything, tell me. It's Young Blackout, man. Real gamers stand up.